should stop. The advocacy that we are talking about, they need to correct this nonsense. Because when we go to Olympics, nobody brings awards the way we do. Nobody performs the way we do. And then you call us disabled. I am not fighting, I'm just a loud person. Exactly, who is disabled? Between us and Bafana, who is disabled? No, talk to me. Who is disabled between us and Bafana? And then you call me disabled. Eh? Mina, tipping, bese ngibuya ne gold. Wena, uhlule ukoripo, yazi ipali lizimele, lihlule ibhola kulifaka lapha ya. These policies needs to be addressed. These policies needs to be looked at. Change your perception. Change your attitude. I'm only 10%. I'm just limping. Hey, you know what? When I started reaching the youth age, amantombazana, banyana, they look at you. Mara, this one, can you have sex? You know, I've gone through a stage. Hey, banyana. Hey, you know she will come to me. And then the question is, why are you asking me? Mara, when you are crippled, you can't do. And then one day I said, they want to make me a guinea pig. I'm gonna show them. Hey, bajiwe wana babatu. Squala, esibadlile esabatabula baba. Esabatabula. No, they decide what I'm crippled, then everything in me is not functioning. How can I walk and talk when all my cells are not working? No, they decided that they are going to make me a project. Aha, kabetsa a double project. Bajiwe. I hope my wife doesn't see this. Well, it was before we met. Your attitude.
I hope I have a sharp steward voice that at the back you can hear me. I'll try. And Tate, you have raised a number of important things. And all of us, we've got a story to tell. We've gone through a lot. The people that you see today, we might look polished, standing strong before you, but we have gone through hell. Society has shown us flames. We have been called names, which we are still being called anyway. But we have overcome that because we refused to allow people to identify or give us an identity. We just told ourselves we are going to be who we want to be. When Tsepo invited me to say we're going to have a disability awareness, can you come and just share? I said, as long as they talk about disability issues, I'm there. Because that's my space. Because that's my story. I talk from my heart. Today I have been asked to share around inclusion. And I want to declare up front to say inclusion is not the activity that you do, it's the outcome. Meaning that it's a journey that you're going to reach to a destination called inclusion. There are a number of things that you have to do for you to get there. And some of that start with unlearning something, which the whole morning that Chaza has been helping us to unlearn, so that we can make space to learn something new. So we have to disrupt some spaces. Certain things have to go away. There are things that we cannot take with us to the journey of inclusion. And some of those are the attitudes that Ndate Chaza was referring to. And some of those are the exclusion, discrimination, the whole marginalization that persons with disability go through. So if I say persons with albinism, you must know that I'm just in love with myself. You know, I'm so used to talk about the two-in-one that is me. So forgive me for that. Some of the things that I wanted to share, sorry, I keep on. Some of the things that I wanted to share, already they have been touched, so I won't repeat them, because I don't want to be the one that stands between you and your Black Friday sale. So, let me be quick. I don't do kumbaya talks. I'm a person of action. And Tate Simelane spoke about the existence of policies. But a policy will not action itself. Someone must do something. And I'm glad that the leadership was here to set the tone for the institution. Everything that I will say, it's not something that you have not heard. And it gets to show you that it doesn't matter where you are, the agenda is the same. I might be at the University of Pretoria, you are here, but the issues that we talk about are the same issues, and we ought to address them the same way. The only difference is the space. Also here we go through the same thing, and we have to dismantle them. Okay? There are a number of things that have been mentioned. Maybe I will start by, in this journey of inclusion, think about a house. Because institutions are like building a house. You have to start with the foundation, isn't it? I might not be a builder, but I know that you have to start with a solid foundation, right? Now, the foundation has to be very strong, right? You can't just have a weak foundation, because even if you build the walls, if the foundation is not strong, then it means it won't stand. As we build towards inclusion, what are some of these things that has to form our foundation? But first we need to identify what are some of the things that must move and make the way. Remember, you would move away things like stones and all of those things, right? What are these barriers that we need to move away in this journey as we build our foundation? I will start by looking at the student barriers that even at UP that we have identified, that our students normally go through this. And these are the things that we have to deal with them, okay? One is the limitation of financial resources. Yes, NSFAS does provide for students with disabilities, but when? That when needs to be addressed. Because by the time the financial support comes, the student has gone through a lot. And our disability units are not resourced to assist the students while they are waiting for NSFAS to pay. That must be addressed. The human resources within this disability, I think it's Ndate Simelane that mentioned also the importance of having first this unit. It's very important because you must drive this from a central point. I always tell people that I don't have a job. For me, it's a calling. As long as you are not in love with what you are doing, then you will do a job. And 8 to 4 things. You are not connected with it. For me, transformation is what is in me. That's very important. I'm saying it because whoever drives your unit, your transformation unit, your disability unit, it has to be someone who understands it. Someone who really have the passion and the heart for it. Otherwise, you will have someone who's doing a job. Okay. So what are those? One of the things that I've mentioned is the limitation of financial resources. Remember, we are building towards inclusion now. But now we are dealing with the barriers that must move. Because we cannot move if we don't deal with them. Okay? The absence of, I've spoken about the financial resources that our students really faced with, and the capacity to assist them within our unit, the human resource part, because they need to be supported in one way or another. Now this has already come out, the absence of disability in our strategic plan. If you don't declare it in your plan, you won't do it. Because where are we going to hold you accountable for it? We need to see it. Now I'm talking to leadership. Maybe you won't like me for this one. You need to declare it in your strategic plans. You need to be intentional about it. That's the only way you can achieve inclusion. Because if we sit and do a kumbaya the whole day, it will not get us anywhere. We need to have intentional activities, intentional plans about how are we going to achieve this. What is it that we're going to do for us to get where we are going, which is inclusion. So it needs to appear, disability must be there. I know we fought a lot even in government for us as persons with albinism, because you wouldn't find albinism in the white paper, for example. There are still debates whether albinism is a disability or not. Maybe I will address that at another time. But all I'm saying is that disability must be included in your strategic plan. The academic program exclusion, I don't know whether you have it here, but we have it at UP, I know. Where there are programs that they will say, no, they won't be able to cope. Who said that they won't? Remember, it's the environment that makes me disabled. It's not me that must change. The environment must change. So the exclusion of persons with disability or students with disability in certain programs, that needs to be looked at. Who must make sure that all programs are inclusive? The next one is the questioning of a student with disability. Now I must prove myself. Are you really disabled? I must prove myself to say, indeed. That's one of the barriers that we have. The issue of a teaching and learning space where material are not accessible, are not inclusive enough. That space, that whole curriculum space needs to be looked at, because there are some that are left behind. I mean, COVID has shown us as well that how unequal are we? When COVID hit and we're all learning at home, did we thought about students with disability and how are they going to cope learning from home? These are some of the things that I was asking them. Show me, what have you done for them? The resources that they were using here on campus, how are they going to access it at home? Have you thought about that? Not being available when students need that support. The human resource that I was talking about. Now there are barriers. Here I was just addressing the barriers that students go through, that we have identified. Obviously, there are barriers that apply both to student and staff. The issue of accessibility is for all of us. The issue of attitude is for all of us. We all go through, you know how ableism show itself. To say, are you sure you can do it? I mean, when I took the role of leading transformation at the University of Pretoria, everyone was rolling their eyes. Can she do it? Are you sure you want to do it? If I don't, who will do it? That's what I told myself. I'm not a professor, I'm not a doctor, not to say that there's something wrong with that. I want to be one day. But like I said, for me, it's a calling, it's not a job. I do it with passion and understanding because I have gone through some of these things. So the issue of ableism needs to be dealt with. Thinking for persons with disability and not including them, or thinking that we are doing them a favor, sympathy that we don't need. The exclusion in terms of the activities and all the other things that are happening within. So all of these things, these are barriers or things that we must dismantle as we journey towards inclusion. But then, now let's talk. Now we have dealt with the foundation and the things that must move away. What is it that we are building this foundation on? The values that are very much important. Respect for one another is one of them. You must respect that I have a human right like any other person. If we're not addressing that to say, let's build on a culture that is defined by these values, then our foundation will go like this. Because you will not see me as a human enough to deliver. So we must build on values that will define our culture. And what are these strategic things that we need to do in our pillars? Now we are talking about the fabric that will bring us together as we journey towards inclusion. Remember, I said we need to come up with practical things because policy is not going to do it. It's the actions that we put in our documents that says this is what we're going to do and this is when we're going to do it. So the first thing that I said, we need to have a plan. The plan will tell us exactly what needs to be done for us to achieve inclusion. We need to set clear targets. If you don't commit to it, you will never do it. You will never do it. So you need to have a plan that you have committed to. You need to have a plan that you will account to. You need to set targets. Targets are not only for employees, even for students as well. I'm glad this morning I heard some of those things that the institution already is embarking on, which tells that the institution is on the right direction. But these things are not an event. It was mentioned earlier on. It's a process that we must embark on, all of us. Transformation is for all of us. And if we don't collaborate or work together on it, it's going to be very difficult for us to achieve it. The provision of adequate resources and support is very important. It has been mentioned a lot of times. As long as the resources are not there, it means you don't have the what do they call them? The tools of trade. You can't do the job. You can't deliver on this plan because the resources to do it are not there. So we need to be able to provide our students, our staff with the necessary resources. Remember, we want them to excel. So how do they excel without the support? I think we had a very beautiful testimony in the morning, how support was given. It needs to be something that is embedded on our system. Not because it's sick. I like it in the morning because it says it's not me alone. I know that other students are also getting the same support. So it must be the culture of the institution to do that. Now we talk empowerment. Today we are here empowering one another. Tomorrow you're going to be a change agent because today you have heard, right? Now today you have been capacitated. Today you have unlearned some of the things. Tomorrow you're now going to talk a different language. Tomorrow you will be the one that is teaching another person. That's how empowerment plays a role, and it's so important. We create a dialogue platforms because it's nice to talk about these issues. Sometimes one is curious to know what is albinism, but probably is scared to ask my sister there to say, tell me more about albinism. But when we create these platforms where we can be freely talking about these issues, we are able now to deal with the perceptions. We are able to deal with the attitudes. So we have, in my institution, a program called #SpeakOut, so that we're not afraid to talk about these issues. It helps because we are creating conversations, right? And we start to challenge some of these things. Challenge the policy. When it doesn't address a particular issue, let's talk about it. Let's challenge it on our dialogue sessions. Now, these are continuous things. When you have that, you begin to learn different things. Today, we'll be talking inclusion, but tomorrow we might be talking ableism, like I said, and the other day we might be talking another topic. But we are creating what? Awareness. And also we are encouraging people to come out, because people have got the fear that if I disclose, for example, I'm going to be victimized. I will not get that, I will not get that, I will not get that. But when we create an environment that is inclusive, an environment that is welcoming for everyone, then everyone feels free to participate. Everyone feels free to be part of what the institution is saying, the inclusion, or the destination where we want to be. We will not be a transformed institution when only few people are running with it and we leave the rest behind. We want to move all of us, and we create these spaces that will be able to take us there. That's the empowerment that we want to create. And all of us sitting here, we've got something to contribute. We've got an idea that may be creative to create awareness. So we need to tap to each other's perspective. Isn't that the beauty of diversity? When we come together in our diversity, but we work towards the same goal. Okay. So I said I will not be the one that is keeping you to your Black Friday. What are the takeaways that I'm giving you? Something to think about, something that will say, tomorrow I'm going to change this. One, I said, be aware of how much respect you give or deny based on your own biases. Dr. Charles spoke a lot about how we view other people. And because of how we view other people, we create an assumption about them and how we respond to them. Very important. Always be cognizant of your own biases. Find practical ways to mitigate the effects of bias in moments that matters. So if you are not empowered like you are today, you will not know, how do I respond to my bias? How do I take it out of my system and be able to see another person as a human being? And the last one is, which I made a declaration in the beginning. Always remember, inclusion is an outcome we produce, not the activities that we do. And in that, thank you very much.
Thank you, my sister. Are you okay? Are you okay? All right. If they are feeling bad, it's their feelings. We are here to tell it as it is. I think if this can be the parliament, the country can change like quickly. One thing I've learned with disabled people, they tell as it is. Do whatever that you want to do, I've told you. That's how we are. We don't dilly-dally with things. Bona, that scene, tire punch, Pula, gears not functioning, now tire punch. Yo! One hand, steering. Bona, I'm coming back to that story. What we are going to do, you see practical, it's wonderful. Hey, people, do you know how blind people can read? Do you know that blind people can read? Do you know? Do you know that they have typewriters? Unamang. And the way of reading. Oh, Luna, you are disabled. Because you can see letters and all of the. Hey, you must visit. You must visit. You will see things that will blow your mind. Do you know that deaf people can really listen to music? No, you didn't know that. And you know that they have a powerful rhythm. You didn't know that. Hey, Bon. Okay, now there's going to be an activity now. Yo. Have you ever eaten without a side? No, one side of yours. Out of all your sides that you have, I don't know. Kuna laba abanalama extra sides, mos. I'm not talking about that. Have you ever had a meal without a side? Let's engage in that activity. After we've engaged in that activity, we're going to recap and hear how it feels. I told you, they can see, they will look, but they will never see. Your eyes are deceiving you because you are lacking foresight. Let us activate your foresight. SA for the blind. Isa, sisu, take over. Mzamzaniz. Awenze kanjalo ne? Bazisithatha through the process, mamela uzozwa. Intashingana yami iphi ngiyacela tu. Demsa sanitizer. Wena uzoza la. Enjoy.
Good afternoon, Sanbona Ninjani. My name is Zandi Mufukeng. I'm an orientation and mobility instructor from the National Council for the Blind, Optima College. So what I do is we do independence training because we're training visually impaired students, blind students. So what we're going to do now, we're going to have lunch in the dark. So we will need 8 volunteers, please. You'll call them. Okay. So Baseza, I'll just explain what we do with our students. Because when they come to the college, remember, they cannot see anything. So we need to orientate them to college layer, how to go to class, how to go to your room, how to go to the canteen, because they don't know the place. It's a new environment. So remember, if it's a new environment and you cannot see, you are lost. No, just lama, right. Ngicela team yami shami ingjoin Guys from council, please join me. Ziyabuya. Awunazo. So let's say you meet a blind person. What do you do first? You don't know how to guide the person. It's a blind person, you want to help the person. What do you do, ma'am? Just general question. What would you do? I'm blind, you want to help me, I want to go to the other side, you see that I'm struggling. I cannot get to the other side. How do you help me, or what do you do?
Good afternoon, dear students and our visitors. Just like is it Chaza? Mr. Chaza has already said that if you come across any disabled person, please don't try to assist that person. The person must ask for help from you. So if the person asks you to help him or her, it's then that you can assist that particular person. But please don't feel pity for a person who is disabled. Wait for the person to request help from you, then you can assist the person.
But remember, the person cannot see you. Let's now talk about blind person. So the person cannot just request because he cannot see.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think you must first greet that person just because the person doesn't see you. So,
And then what do you do? Greet the person and then under traffic lights or robot, you are crossing the traffic. You greet the person, you are right, so that there's someone around.
and then I'll first ask the person if that person wants help from me.
That's very important.
Yes.
You greet the person so that they know that you are around, and then ask if they need help.
Yes.
Because others remember, when we train them, they can cross traffic lights, they can go there. When you see a person that doesn't know what to do, remember he will stand at the traffic light, seem to eat traffic because they know when to cross and how to cross. So you ask the person, do you need help? They say yes, you help them, and you ask them how. You don't just direct them, you ask them how. And tell them. So what you're going to do now, just blindfold you. Okay, let's do this. Okay, what we'll do now, we're going to blindfold you, and then my team will sighted guide you. A sighted guide is when you go with a sighted person. That's why we call it a sighted guide. Yes. So these are our sighted guides. For now, champions, you'll be visually impaired for this purpose. So the one person will take one champion, and then you blindfold them, and then we'll take it from there. Choose your partner. Other way around. Like my mask. My mask. Okay. So do we all have our guides? Where's your guide? Yeah, be with your guide, please. Where's your guide, Mamzo? Oh, okay. Mistake. So what's going to happen now is they're going to move around here. Okay. What's going to happen now, they're going to move around here guiding them. Remember, if they were not trained, they would not know how to hold them. If there's an obstacle in front of them, they would know what to do. So now they will just guide them as if they don't know. You just met a person, you're just guiding them. You just go. So that you see how they feel. Because that's how blind people feel. And imagine if it's a new environment. Yeah, Mike, join. And look the way they walk. Bathuke. Because they don't even know where they are. And then you take them like this, you leave them in the middle of nowhere. They don't know where they are. They don't know what's around them. They are confused. That's why communication is very important when you are with, yeah. Ouch. Okay, hlana idimamzo. Look at the way the mamzo is walking. Because Utugile, she doesn't know where she is. Now we did not do it the correct way. So now we're gonna do it the correct way. How to hold them, explain everything as you come up with them. And then let's see the difference. When you guide like a visually impaired person, you hold them, or the person, they will hold you above the elbow. Not you holding them. They will hold you above your elbow so that they can control your movement. Remember, when you're holding them, you're using body language because you won't talk all the way. So as you walk using your hand, they will know what to do. You can come, guys. Now, if you had visually impaired person say, they will be wondering what's happening. Because they are busy talking at the back, but there's no one who's explaining what's happening. So communication is very, very important. Subi. You see now, as they walk with them, they are explaining everything so they know where they are, what's happening in the environment as well. Please explain to us, how did you feel?
How did you feel walking blind?
It's difficult. It's painful.
Painful. The experience was difficult and painful.
Your experience, ma'am?
No, quite simple.
Was it simple?
Yes.
Oh, brother?
Good afternoon, everyone. Guys, it wasn't easy because, first of all, I'm used to seeing things around, and I actually took my sightness for granted. So, like, ungaboni, and okay, one thing, like, trust is very important. Like, you have to trust this person with all you have, because without them, you'll just be stranded. That's what I took from it. Thank you.
Just to summarize what they were doing, whilst we were walking around. We are pen. So that they all see what. You are the blind person. I'm leading you. When I come to you, I'll make contact so that you know that I'm around. And then you will hold me above my elbow. And then we move around. And then let's say there's an obstacle in front of her. I will say to her, change sides. I will be on the obstacle side. She'll be on the safe side. We continue as we walk. We want to go back from where we're coming from. I'm telling you, I'm communicating still. Let's go back. She will know what to do. Or last thing, we cited guide skills. When there's a chair, you are taking them to a chair. You don't just say there's a chair there and then you face the other direction. Where is where? Where is the chair? You take your hand, hold on to me. You take your hand, you put it on top of the chair. She will slide her hand, then she's on the chair, and then she will check the chair, and then she will sit down. That's correct and in order. So now what we're going to do, we're going to have lunch in the dark. Remember they used to see, now they don't see. They will look at their plate, they would know that I have my beetroot, I have my rice, I don't need spaletta, I need lemon twist. Please change it for me. But with them, it's a different story. You put food in front of them, they don't know what it is. So now guys, we're going to have lunch. There's food in front of you. You need to have your lunch. Let's dig in. Find your food and your cutlery. Find your food. The food is there on the table. Eat, and then you leave. You leave them like that. Is it fair? Remember, they cannot use their eyes. Even the cold drink that you put in front of them. What if they don't drink Coke and they don't see that it's Coke? Only when they drink it, they would know that it's Coke. All right. The correct way of doing it, you'll put the food in front of them. Okay, now you must all have your food, your plates. And then you explain to them. Your cold drink is on your right-hand side. You make them feel it. It's Coke, it's lemon twist, so that if they don't want the Coke or lemon twist, they will share with you. Your Coke is on your right-hand side, and then your cutlery is on your left-hand side. What you have on your plate, you use a clock reference system. On your plate, let's say you have 12, you have 3 on the right-hand side, you have 6, you have 9 on the left-hand side. You will tell them, at 12, you have your rice. At 3 o'clock, you have maybe your meat. At 6 o'clock, you have your spinach. At 9 o'clock, you have your pumpkin. So that when they go to their plates, they know if I go at 12, I know what to find. They don't mess themselves. So please, let's do that. Explain what they have on their plates, please, so that they can eat and see. So what you have, brother, at 12, you have your rice. At 6, you have fish. At 3, you have chicken and you have beef stew. And then at 9, you have spinach and pumpkin.
There's chicken on your.
Let's see if they will remember. Because their plates, they are not the same. So they are explaining what is where so that they know and they don't mess themselves up. Are you sorted? See another mistake. We just put in fork and knife, and he doesn't prefer fork and knife. He would rather eat rice by hand today. It's just one, two. Oh, it's fine. Eat, Brad. Use your hands if you want. Where the fork is empty. Where? It is. It's a meat. This is very challenging because you were used to eating with your fork and knife. All of a sudden, you cannot. People are eating rice with hands here. You'll finish next year more. Use your hands. Sorry. Are you full already? You just don't know what to do anymore. And you're not full. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And ukudla kuphambi kwakhe. Yes. It's a mindset like that. Imagine. Okay, ask a question.
Like, okay, during my meal, does someone have to be around for in case if I forget or I don't get something?
You forget what? Because remember, we've explained to you what is way.
Yes, Yeah, but then during, like when you're eating, food messes around in the plate. So the spinach is no longer at 9. Jack Pearl.
Yes, who moved it from 9? You moved it, Mos. Find it. Find it. Turn it around until you find it.
And the food is right in front of you.
Even the spinach is still there. Fellow people, that was the activity. It's really in the dark, ne? Yeah, I can see. So going forward, guys, please let's respect them. If they need help, we ask them. How do they need that help? Like the food, it's just a general knowledge. There's so much to it. This is just a piece of it, just a drop in the water, in the ocean. Sorry. So going forward, you meet a blind person. You ask the blind person, how can I help you? And then they will explain to you. Because we train them, like at our college, when they come, we orientate them. You'll find students sitting in their room, not knowing where to go. It's time to eat, they won't eat because they don't know where the canteen is, where the dining room is. So we need to go to that student when they come. You sighted guide them, we give them their canes. This is where the canteen is. This is where your class will be. This is where the hall is, until they get used to it. Yes, until they are independent. Because we promote independence training. Do you have questions, or we'll get to that? Say. Okay.
Danke siyabonga. Danke siyabonga. Where is my thingy? My sanitizer. My sanitizer. All right. This is what we are going to do, ne? This we are going to do. Because they are disabled people. Mabangadlanga baya faint. It's a disability. What we are going to do? Yes, ngikutshelile. Keep on hiding, wena. You're going to suffer alone. What we are going to do? Don't stress. What we are going to do, ne? This is part 1 that we've just completed. What we are going to ask, let's just go and refresh, fill up the stomach. Yeah, that is why I'm telling you. Then you are saying, please, Marata Rijo. We're just going to go for lunch. Once we have done, let's just take 35 minutes in just taking meals. We come back, we conclude everything. It's just 2 items, Nyana, so that we can recap and hear from the people that can see who just suddenly couldn't see and eat. Hear what is their story. We've got Dr.